Welcome to Spirited Investigations, and welcome to Missouri's Haunted History. This list of 10 is part of a playlist of gentle listening spooky collections from across the USA. The screen fades to black so you can enjoy the stories without distractions if relaxing or studying. Please do consider a like and subscribe if you enjoy this type of content. First, we have the Elms Hotel and Spa in Excelsior Springs, which has suffered not one but two fires. The first was in 1898 and the second in 1910. Luckily, there were no casualties from either of the fires, but it is rumoured that a spirit was involved in one of them. Guests have reported paranormal activity in the pool area of the hotel. One ghost is of a woman called the Blue Lady, who drowned in the pool. Another is a gambler who was involved with illegal activities during the speakeasy days of Prohibition. The pool area was once a popular hangout for gangsters, including Al Capone. Another story says the housekeeping staff have a spiritual advisor in the form of a ghost wearing a 1920s-style uniform. You know, Al Capone seems to have been everywhere in his lifetime. With mention in the pool area, I wonder if he might well have called in at our pond on his way to somewhere. At number 2 is Zombie Road in Wildwood, also called Rock Hollow Trail. With a length of 3.5 miles, the road is apparently haunted by the ghosts of people who have met strange ends. It's the site of one of the largest Native American burial mounds in the country and was once used by the Army during the Civil War. Legend says there are ghostly Native Americans, Confederate soldiers, groups of child ghosts, and the tortured souls of working men killed in industrial accidents. It has quite a reputation as a place where shadowy figures and other non-human entities have been reported for many decades. In the 1950s, it began to be called Zombie Road. One bizarre tale is that you should bring a car cover and cover your vehicle before walking down the trail. If you meet anything unexpected and run back, your car will be fine because it was covered up. However, the usual time to look for anything would be at night, and the road is closed half an hour after sunset. The police have issued tickets to people caught there in the night hours. For number 3, the Glore Psychiatric Museum in St. Joseph was once known as the St. Joseph State Lunatic Asylum No. 2. Reports include sightings of shadowy figures, eerie whispers in the corridors, and the capture of unusual electronic voice phenomena, EVPs. Some have heard the cry of what sounds like a child saying, "Help me." Visitors have encountered inexplicable cold spots that send shivers down their spines. The museum staff also have their own eerie tales to tell, with rocking chairs from the hospital's past mysteriously moving or changing positions. And number 4 is the Hy-Vee Arena in Kansas City, which is home to a sad tragedy. Many died in a fatal collapse that occurred in 1979 while construction was underway, and there are rumours that the deceased ghosts are still there. There's also the spirit of a former WWE wrestler named Owen Hart. In 1999, he died when he fell from the arena's ceiling while attempting to descend as his superhero image, the Blue Blazer. People say Hart's ghost has been seen wearing his blue blazer, sitting at the top of the arena and looking down. Halfway through the list we have the Stevens College in Columbia. Founded in 1833, Stevens College is the second oldest female college in the United States and is rumoured to have many ghosts. Locals say the Pillsbury dorm hole is haunted by 3 women named the Blue Ladies. Additionally, those ghosts are thought to sing to students at night. Searcy Hall has also witnessed the cries of a newborn spirit, a baby abandoned behind a locker by a student. Furthermore, there's a ghost known as Sarah, who was the lover of a Civil War soldier, who is said to remain around the campus. At number 6, the Exorcist House is at 8435 Roanoke Drive in Belnor. The 3-bedroom colonial house is within a charming street-lined neighbourhood and fits right in with the houses on its street, but is considered to be one of the most haunted places in the world. In March of 1949, several Jesuit priests from St. Louis University began an exorcism of a 13-year-old boy. Their efforts included praying over him, invoking protections, and they did their best to cast out the demon believed to be within the boy. During the exorcism, they saw things they couldn't explain, such as tables flipping over and clothes hangers flying out of the closet in the room. The events became the inspiration for a 1971 novel and a 1973 film, both called The Exorcist. Blatty's novel was based on a diary which was kept by one of the priests. After the success of the book and film, researchers placed the actual exorcism away from the house, at the rectory of St. Francis Xavier College Church on the St. Louis University campus, and also at the Alexian Brothers Hospital. However, where it all began was the house, before the boy was moved to the rectory and then to the hospital. With both the church rectory and the Alexian Brothers Hospital having been knocked down decades ago, the home remains the last surviving landmark associated with the story. At number 7 is Park University in Parkville. When the college opened in 1875, the idea was that students could receive free tuition if they worked for half a day on the farm area or in the printing plant. During the early 1940s, 2 female students hung themselves on campus, and people believe their ghosts still linger, mostly due to hushed voices being heard in the area where they took their lives. Students also report hearing phantom footsteps coming from empty rooms. Additional reports are of seeing a hooded figure, seeing spirits in the astronomy tower, and sighting a grey-suited figure on campus. At spot number 8 is Union Station in Kansas City. Built in 1914, it was once a hub of train activity for the hundreds of people who travel through it daily, but as train travel reduced, so did the station's popularity. Eventually it was closed in the 1980s. In 1996, however, the station was renovated and restored as a landmark and a working train station. During those renovations, strange sightings were reported. No one knows why, but while the renovations were ongoing, employees reportedly saw a woman in a black dress. She always went down a flight of steps and then would suddenly disappear. They would also see phantom passengers carrying suitcases and hear steam train whistles. At number 9 is the Vale Mansion in Independence. The 31-room Gothic-style mansion dates back to 1881. Events start with its owner, Colonel Harvey Vale. He was charged with defrauding the government twice, but was declared not guilty both times. He was plagued with legal troubles, and then his wife, Sophia, was stricken with stomach cancer. In 1883, Sophia was undergoing treatment when she died mysteriously at home. Officially, it was a morphine overdose. Now people report spotting a ghost inside the house that resembles Sophia Vale. She's also seen looking out of the windows. Finally, Knob Noster in Johnson County. Knob Noster is a small Missouri town close to Whiteman Air Force Base. As you may or may not be aware, the word knob is an old term for a hill or small mountain, and that's where the town gets its name. The story goes that an old hermit lived up on a hill, and he used to avoid townspeople as much as he could. In fact, he had a slave who would run any errands he had in town. The slave was well liked by the townspeople, so when he went missing, they became concerned, especially when the hermit began to come into town to do his own errands. Some of the locals asked him about the slave, but he just scowled and stormed off, starting a rumour that he had murdered the young man. A few days later, there was a terrible storm, and witnesses saw a lantern moving on the hill just before lightning struck. The following day, the hermit's body was discovered, his face frozen in terror. To this day, people still see the light from a lantern bobbing up and down the hillside on stormy nights. Nobody knows what happened. Thank you for joining me on this little journey. From blue ladies to spooky lanterns, Missouri has some intriguing legends and history. I hope you'll be around for the next one.